Here we have today the star of SIPS, the real star of SIPS. He has been with us forever since the beginning, and it is my pleasure to introduce you Professor Danny Shechtman, 2011 Nobel Laureate in Chemistry. Good morning, Danny. How are you?
Good morning. Good your morning. Mine is in afternoon.
Yes,
I'm just fine, Florian. I'm talking to you
absolutely.
from Israel, near Tel Aviv, and I will talk about water issues and solutions.
Perfect. This is one of the most important issues today. Water, water, water. And this is directly linked with sustainability. So it is the most welcome presentation. Uh, when I was saying about morning, I was referring to the morning in Crete. My mind was in Crete. So let's go. Uh, let's start with the presentation. Uh, this is water issues and solutions, and especially the Israel experience. The floor is yours, Danny.
Okay, so water sustainability is a major issue in some parts of the world, especially in my part of the world, which is the Middle East. We have years of drought, while in Europe we have sometimes drought, sometimes floods. And here the issue is, can we sustain agriculture? Can we sustain life in the Middle East? And this is my subject, water issues and solutions. And I will talk about the Israel experience. My name is Dan Shechtman. I am from the Technion in Haifa, Israel. I also have a position in Iowa State University in Ames, Iowa, in the United States. So, first, let's talk about the issues. What are the problems? What are the issues? First issue, a drying world. This is not only a problem of the Middle East, it's a problem of many, many countries. And a drying world is a dying world. And this is why we have to address it. Here is a map of the world, and you can see the regions that are marked in red, which are very problematic, and Israel, which is right here in the center of the picture, is a dry region. The yellow is less dry, and the white is no problem. But major developed countries are dry, and many countries address this issue and try to solve this issue. So let's look at what is the problem. Why is it important for the world to understand water issues of the Middle East, Africa, and other countries? Water scarcity means dry fields and death of cattle in rural areas. Farmers deserted villages because they cannot sustain life and crowd into the city streets. As food availability is low, price of staple food goes up to a point where in which people are hungry. And this happened in the Middle East. Syria is an example. The result, social pressure, social instability that leads to internal wars. Consequently, terrible death toll and waves of refugees. Many stay as refugees in their countries, but others go to neighboring countries and to Europe. Here's a map of the Middle East. You can see at the top Turkey. Below it, you see Syria and Iraq on the right. On the left, you see little Israel. North of Israel is Lebanon, and east to Israel is Jordan. And southwest of Israel is Egypt, and southeast of Israel is Saudi Arabia. Next, please. So let's talk about Syria first. So you see it on the map. A 2006 drought pushed Syrian farmers to migrate to urban centers, setting the stage for a massive uprising. The result? Estimated 500,000 dead and millions of refugees that seek help. The drought continues and there is no relief in sight. If you look at Iraq, Iraq has two great rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates. And these two rivers sustained the development of Iraq, that was a center of civilization thousands of years ago. And now they are drying out. Today, one can walk across parts of these rivers. These mighty rivers are drying out, they are dried. Let's look at Egypt, as you see on the map. Egypt, the mighty Nile River, is threatened by rising sea levels because much of the Nile Delta is only 1 meter above sea level, 1 meter. If the water rise in the Mediterranean 1 meter, then Egypt is a dead country. And the rise of price of food results in social instability and unrest. And so we see the drought results in civil wars, human misery, and waves of refugees. However, there is a potentially greater danger looking, conflicts between countries that they may lead to wars, conflicts because of control of water. And this is because of dams. Turkey, as you see on the top, builds now more than a dozen dams as part of the southeastern Anatolia project, which is one of the biggest irrigation and electrical power schemes in the world. Syria has built the Kaban Dam on the Euphrates, affecting water supply to Iraq. Ethiopia built a dam, it's complete now, on the Blue Nile, affecting water supply to Egypt. The Blue Nile is a major source of water to the Nile River, and it affects dramatically the supply of water to Egypt. So you can say that a dam is a short time program because once the dam is full, then water continue to flow. Not so, because when countries build dams, they develop agriculture around the dams and use the water in the dams for local agriculture. This takes part of the water that continue to flow. So Ethiopia, because of the Blue Nile, affect Egypt. You see this flow here from the lower part to the upper part, from the south to the north into the Nile in Egypt. Second issue is water waste. We waste water. Many countries waste water. And they waste water, for instance, by flood irrigation. Can you imagine this huge field is flooded to irrigate some crops? Next, please. Here is flood irrigation in Limpopo province in South Africa, flooding the fields. Next, please. Here is flood irrigation in Egypt from the Nile. They take water from the Nile and flood. And here is Australia, a modern country, flood irrigation in Australia from pipes, still flood irrigation. Flood irrigation was used before the availability of sprinklers. Then, when aluminum pipes became available, sprinkler irrigation became popular. However, although the use of sprinkler is less wasteful than flood irrigation, no doubt, aluminum pipes are not enough because on top of the pipes, also needed is electricity for water pumps and means for high storage of water to allow the sprinklers to use, and that is not available in many parts of the world, the electricity and the aluminum pipes. However, although the use of sprinklers is less wasteful, aluminum pipes is not enough. Also needed, as I said, electricity for water pumps, means of high storage of water, and that is not available in many parts of the world, as I just said. Next, please. Now let's talk about solutions. We mentioned the problems, now solutions. One solution is drip irrigation. This is a solution invented and widely used in Israel and in other parts of the world because of Israel. Israel pushed this technology to many countries. In drip irrigation, every plant receives exact amount of water needed for the plant, and the fertilizers come with the water. Not a drop is wasted. Next, please. Here you see all the story of the drip irrigation. At the top, you see on the right the source of water. It goes to a pump through filters and so on, and then it goes to the field within pipes, and the pipes has special orifices in it to release drops of water for every plant. And this is not simple holes in the pipe, because if you have simple holes in the pipe, then the pressure near the storage area, near the pump, is high, and 200 meters away, it is very low. So you need special equipment so that the pressure near the source of water is exactly the pressure hundreds of meters away from the source. And this was developed in Israel. Next, please. Here's an example of drip irrigation. You see small plants. The plant seems to be quite happy. And next, please. And not only small plants. Here is a sugarcane project in Peru using Netafim drip irrigation system. Netafim is the name of a company in Israel that sells the drip irrigation hardware all over the world. And you see that it can go to 5 meters high with drip irrigation, no problem. And this is a very good use of water. Next, please. Here is a net greenhouse in Los Pinos, Mexico, the largest greenhouse tomato project in the country, developed with Israel Netafim. Netafim, as I said, is the name of the company that produces the drip irrigation hardware, and the greenhouse technology. And the courtesy is from the company. Next, please. Here's another one. You can grow vegetables, you can grow fruits, you can grow crops, you can grow flowers. Here is another example, growing flowers by drip irrigation. Next, please. This is one solution. Second solution, clean home and industrial use water for reuse in agriculture irrigation. Next, please. Here is a cleaning process of water in Israel. It's called Shafdan, and this is an aerial view of the project, cleaning urban and industrial wastewater for agriculture use. And so every drop of water is used twice, once at home, then it goes to the sewer, sewer is cleaned, you reused for agriculture. Next, please. Shafdan services 2.5 million residents and 7,000 industrial plants, and it gives its services 24, 36, 65 service in the Tel Aviv area. Tel Aviv is a large city in Israel. 130 million cubic meters of wastewater are cleaned every year. 70% of agricultural water in the south of Israel is a desert, the Negev desert, but there is agriculture there, very good agriculture. And 70% of the agricultural water in the south of Israel are such reclaimed clean water. One of the reasons for the high quality of the Shafdan clear water is the fact that the recycled water stay underground sand for several years before it is pumped up. And then it is really, really clean. You can drink this water, but we don't do that. The third solution, seawater desalination. Next, please. Here is the desalination water plants in Israel. There are 5 of them, and 2 are being built. And then the desalinated water is distributed all over the country. On the right, in pink, you can see the amount of water that is being desalinated. It goes up and up and up, and it is much higher now than it has been in 2013. Next, please. The 5 Israeli desalination plants produce close to 600 million cubic meters of water, drinking water, every year, amounting to 70% of all water supply to households and communities. In fact, today, 85% of the water we drink is desalinated, and also, of course, goes to the factories. The new desalination plants are constructed in Israel, and the first will start working this year, and the second one next year. In 2 years, 100% of water needed in Israel will be desalinated, 1 billion cubic meters of water per year. All the water we need will be desalinated. Also, Israel sells water. It sells 100 million cubic meters of desalinated water per year to Jordan. This is part of the peace agreement between Israel and Jordan, is that we will supply Jordan water. Jordan is a dry country, and their agriculture depends on these 100 million cubic meters of desalinated water that we sell them. The price, by the way, is 65 cents per cubic meter. Israel pays 40 cents per cubic meter to the desalination plant. So the country make 25 cents revenues on each cubic meter we sell to Jordan. We, the citizens, when we use at home, we pay $3 per cubic meter for desalinated water for home use, but this includes sewer services, so not so terrible, and we can pay. Next, please. Okay, of course, we did not invent desalination, and the world is using desalination in a growing pace. Several countries are leading. Saudi Arabia is a leading, United States is a leader, and we use more and more desalinated water. Water became a commodity. We produce water. We don't depend on nature anymore if we don't have water in nature. And so we can supply wonderful quality water to households and to the industry. Next, please. Now, this is my last slide, and this is a proposal I want to make. And this is a desalination ship, an emergency water source. Let's say that there is a city near the coast that has water problems, and they do not have yet desalination plants. So we propose to build a water ship with onboard power generation capability to dock offshore of where water is needed, and this is a desalination plant, and produce fresh water. The water ship will be able to provide consistent, high-quality water while neither posing burden on the national grid, nor does it need any required quick investment. You don't even have to invest. You just have to pay for the water. I want to make a conclusion. This is my family, by the way. We have 4 children, 12 grandchildren. I'm very proud of it. But let's make a conclusion. Water issues are a very, very important problem in the world. Water sustainability is a major issue. Many countries deal with water sustainability, and I'm talking about fresh water only. There's another talk on saline water which I will make a little introduction to. And so solutions are found: save water by drip irrigation and other saving water irrigation systems. You can develop excellent agriculture with irrigation systems, saving a lot of water, and the plants are very happy. This is one solution. And of course, desalinating water in industrial level is the other solution that I have mentioned. I want to mention something for my next talk on another occasion. You know, we are very proud of ourselves as modern people, and 12,000 years ago, we created agriculture. No longer gatherers and hunters, now we produce our own food, we grow crops, we raise farm animals. We don't have to go to the forest to hunt, we don't have to go to the wilderness to gather food. So we are very happy, and 12,000 years later, we have very modern agriculture. But what about aquaculture? We still fish, go, send ships to the oceans to collect, to hunt fish. Like 12,000 years ago on land, we do it now. And so, slowly but surely, the field of aquaculture is developing. We use cages to grow fish and algae for use, for instance, for the sushi and so on. And this is a developing field. There are still problems there, and the problem is the pollution and disease of fish. This will be resolved, but this is the next step. Already started in many countries. Norway is a leader, by the way, but many other countries also raise fish and other sea products for the use of people. So this is the next presentation some other time. It was wonderful being with you, and I wish you a fantastic meeting. I am sorry I cannot be with you, and this is why this is recorded. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
Jan
Thank
for
you, Danny. It's a very interesting presentation. Fits very well with our FLOGEN sustainability framework. So every solution you mentioned comes from science, starting from fundamental to applied, and then you mentioned the help from the government, helping cost to cover some cost of the plants,
yes.
and then this presentation is done by academic, which means that it's so important to train the future generation. So uh, here we have a real example how science can help achieve sustainability and achieve the quality of life of human beings. So it's really fits very well. Actually, it's an example that I'm going to quote it if you allow me. So it's a very good, it's a very good presentation. Fits very well with FLOGEN sustainability framework. And I don't know if you've seen it, but FLOGEN sustainability framework just a couple of days ago, it was adopted as a law in one of the big cities in Brazil. So all projects approved by the city will have to pass through the criteria of FLOGEN sustainability framework. That means in order to achieve the three criteria: environmental protection, economic growth, that people forget, and social development, quality of life of human beings. And then how this is achieved: government first, science and technology, government, and education. So this is another example I'm going to quote, but for the purpose of SIPs, this is really a great presentation.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Florian.
Danny, again. We'll be in touch.
Have a good meeting, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.